So we're outside of the district court in Wright County. We've just left Judge Tenney's courtroom. Judge Tenney, pursuant to an order issued by Federal Judge Donovan Frank, resentenced Terry Olson today to essentially time served on a conviction that was handed down in 2007, in which we were convinced and we were litigating was a wrongful conviction that Terry Olson was never involved in the death of Jeffrey Hamill. If it was in fact a homicide, it wasn't something that Terry Olson was involved in, but the prosecutor about a month ago offered to stipulate to the release of Terry Olson for time already served if we would agree to drop the habeas corpus action that was pending in federal court. Today, we're extremely happy. We're gratified. Terry Olson is out of prison. He doesn't have to serve any more time for a crime that he did not commit, and he can get on with his life. And whether or not there's a formal piece of paper saying that he's innocent, he's an innocent man, and we've corrected an injustice.
I'll just keep an eye on this one coming in the fall.
I cannot imagine being behind bars for 11 years for something I didn't do. That is just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What do you think?
Well, he's coming now.
Looks like you're going to be on every channel tonight. People won't be able to escape you.
When?
I guess so.
Did you just say when?
My kids will be thrilled.
Are you used to this?
No,
You like how I am?
Not at all. Not. Is this a pretty high-profile case for you?
it is, but it's, you know,
More personal.
more personal, exactly.
We look forward to talking to him.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have, over the years, he'll have plenty to say. Today, I don't know. You know, Mr. Olson struggled a long time with the question of whether he was going to give up the right to get a judicial declaration of innocence in exchange for getting out of prison today. And that was an agonizing decision for him.
So, no DNA?
No DNA,
No eyewitnesses?
no eyewitnesses, I'll come back to that.
Okay.
No footprints, no tire tracks. The body was found on the side of the road out in rural Minnesota, near Buffalo, Minnesota. All that we had was an individual who was dead of something called a basilar skull fracture, which means that the back of his head was crushed in some fashion from a very heavy blow, which could have been, and this was the deputy sheriff's theory, could have been somebody was driving along hauling a farm implement with part of it extending over the side of the highway. This guy was hitchhiking or walking along the side of the highway at 2:30 in the morning in August, and all of a sudden this thing hits him in the back of the head. Down he falls. No signs of a scuffle, no signs of a fight, no signs of a car that was there, nothing in the ditch, no trampled grass, nothing. For years this case, the death certificate was undetermined, wasn't even considered a homicide. When they reopened the investigation, they interviewed a man named Dale Todd, who was a very vulnerable, very fragile man, and the police, in my opinion, coerced a confession from him. And his confession, as it were, his statement to the police, was in conflict with known physical evidence. The case went forward because the police extracted this confession. It was recanted during the middle of a trial of the other person. So this Dale Todd says, me and Terry Olson and Ron Michaels did it. By the way, he went on to say, but Terry Olson sat in the car and wasn't actually involved, but he was there. That case goes to trial against Ron Michaels, and in the middle of the examination by the prosecutor, he says, I can't do this, it's a lie, we weren't there, we had nothing to do with it. Ron Michaels is acquitted. 7 months later, and Dale Todd, his reward for that recantation was they pulled the plea deal. He went to prison on a 3.5-year sentence. In the middle of that, 7 months after the Ron Michaels acquittal, they pull him out. They meet with him before he's supposed to testify, and he testifies at trial against Terry Olson on pilot. You know, yes, no, yes, we did it, yes. Terry Olson was convicted. And then within days, literally, of that conviction, Dale Todd sent a letter to the judge who presided over the trial and said, "We weren't there. I lied. I lied because I didn't want to get in trouble for something we didn't do." And that's the end of the story. And literally, years later, Terry Olson is still in prison. There was no hearing on that Dale Todd letter. There was other evidence we uncovered that shows his innocence, in our opinion. And today, frankly, we're just ecstatic that we could finally bring this ordeal to an end for Terry. We don't have the slip of paper that says, "Terry, you're innocent," but he knows he's innocent, and now he's out of prison, and whatever time he has left, whatever time with his family, with his mother of his own, he gets today. There is plenty of ability on all members of the system to do better and to not lose their way. I'm getting the call Terry's being released. Hello?
Welcome, Terry.
What do you have to say?
Wow.
How are you feeling, man?
I am super relieved. It's been a long time coming. And I want to acknowledge my friends from the Innocence Project of Minnesota and David Schultz from ANDVD. Thank them for requiring my release. And now I just wanted to see my mom. Thank you guys for coming. I always had hope. They gave me that hope. And you know, that's what brought me through this. Just short of 11 years now. Another 6. Right now, I just don't know. That's something that I'll have to sit down and reflect on in the next few days.
Terry, there might be other people that are in jail that don't deserve to be there, just like you.
Yes.
What would you say to them?
Hold on. Hold on. Keep your faith in the Lord. And hold on. You know, there's people working hard to make things like this happen. And my day came true. Thank God.
Hey, as I told you, may God be with you. I said, I'll take it. I'll just be satisfied with Judge Denny. All right.
And you said the first stop was to go see your mom. She's in Osceola, is that right?
Correct.
And how old is she?
I believe she's 78 years old now.
Okay.
I have seen her one time in the last 11 years, so I'm looking forward to this. She doesn't know that I'm coming, so hopefully she's not watching TV and this isn't live.
Not live.
Good.
We also had problems with the policy, and all we did was get to the parking lot. We were already in
They did not
trouble,
want
so
us
we
there.
would not have made it as long as anybody else there.
Can we just do a quick thing? What's the last 11 years? How have you been spending your time? Did you go to the law library, did you say?
I spent a lot of time in the law library. I spent a lot of time reading about the law. Why won't anybody listen to me? Why, you know?
What did I do?
Yeah, I've done nothing wrong. And you know, prosecution came at me with more than one deal. before all this happened. I could have walked 11 years ago. You know, I had a judge ask me during my pre-trial back in March 2007 when they offered me a deal of assault with time served. And the judge actually asked me if I knew what I was doing. You know, he said, Mr. Olson, you're looking at walking out the door tomorrow, basically, or life in prison. My answer was, what kind of person does that, Your Honor? Evidently, he didn't understand what I meant.
Carry in here and we just go right on in.
Okay.
Here she is.
Oh.
My God! Come here! I don't want you ever to leave me again. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
You got a little wise to us, did you?
Did you lose weight? I sure did. You okay? I'm okay. I don't think he should have just strung it out like that.
You girls are really pretty.
Yeah, well, I just
This must be the one who calls you Uncle T, is that right?
Yep, this is Hunter. He's the one I told you about that I had the picture of him on my plate when he was a year old. It's the only one I hung on my wall. Grown up.
Oh my gosh! You got to come and see me more often than this. Too much. Oh my gosh! I want him to stay with me forever. Nobody knows how glad I am.
Oh, it was real hard.
It was real hard, but they did it. They did it. And that's
They did it.
quite nice of them to do it. Oh, very nice. You don't know how nice it's been. I know. You're home to stay with me. I don't know.
say at the very beginning, we don't have prepared remarks. Terry's not going to make a prepared statement, and neither am I nor Julie Jonas from the Innocence Project. We just want to say, first of all, thank you for coming. Second of all, Terry is here to answer your questions. We do ask one thing from you, and that is, be respectful of Terry. He's been through a lot.
But any amount of time being locked up for a crime that he didn't commit is excruciatingly painful and lonely. Without family, and if the Innocence Project and Julie Jonas and David Schultz from Maslin LLP, once it came on board, I don't know whether or not it just, what would have happened.
Do you feel any bitterness, through this whole experience, any anger that you still hold?
Can't do it. Can't do it. It's, I've been given a new lease on life by these people and the people that have supported me through the years. And going forward, it is impossible if you want to continue to live in the past. It's not like it's just gone, it's still there. But I have a whole lot of people that'll help me through that, and have no plans on disappointing a single one of them.
Julie, how many people has the Innocence Project helped to free who were wrongly convicted in your eyes?
So Terry's number 5 in Minnesota. Nationally, we know that there's over 1,800 people who have been exonerated nationwide.
How many more open cases do you have?
Well, we get about 300 requests for assistance a year, and at any given time, I usually have about 40 or 50 open cases that are in some form of screening, investigation, or litigation.
A Minnesota man is free after spending more than 10 years in prison for a crime he says he did not commit.
57-year-old Terry Olson was convicted in 2007 for the 1979 death.
The mind has a strange ability to be able to shut itself off, especially when you're in total shock. And I just looked around at my surroundings and still couldn't believe what's going on. And it's like, this is my future? I'm looking at this going, this is my future, really? And I've done nothing?
The thing that I've analogized it to, a lot of these wrongful conviction cases they're like an airplane crash, because it's not just one thing. It's a series of events that build on each other and all go wrong to all of a sudden end up with the plane crashing, or in Terry's case, finding himself being put on trial and then being convicted of murder.
Why we ended up where we are today is something I can't answer. You feel like you're standing on top of Mount Rushmore screaming for help and screaming that you're innocent, but there's nobody listening. And nobody did listen until the Innocence Project of Minnesota came along, and until David Schultz from Maslin LLP came along. If they wouldn't have came along, if they didn't have the compassion to correct these injustices, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. I'd still be in prison.